Every week, comic artists unleash stunning masterpieces and, well, less stunning creations. So today, we're going to talk about the books that are coming out for the week of 4/9/25 with best and worst covers of the week. Now, I got to preface this with, we're going to try things a little differently this week in the format I do this in because a lot of the covers, well, didn't give us very many options. So we're still going to go through DC, Marvel, Independence, and things like that. But for this week, a lot of the books are just offerings from DC. I picked my best and worst covers of the week through DC because there wasn't a lot of variety to go through to pick from title to title to title to title to title. And so I just figured this would be a better way to do it. Try something a little different, if you will. Let me know if you guys like this new format that I'm going to do. If you like the old format better, I might try to do a compilation of the two moving forward. But as always, let's jump into best and worst covers of the week for this week. And we're going to start off with DC. Kicking us off, the best cover of the week, we have this Batman, Absolute Batman #7, Michael Cyan variant. Sorry if I butchered that name. I'm terrible at pronouncing names. But I love this Black Mask variant with the crystal ball-esque look as Batman is diving at him. Absolute Batman has been a great title. We're about to start a new story arc with Mr. Freeze in issue #7. This I felt like was the best cover for issue #7 and one of the best covers DC had to offer this week. For the worst cover, I have this Batman and Robin 1/25 Christian Ward variant. I love the detail in the background, but I feel like the Batman and the Robin in the foreground are left lacking. I felt like the detail is missing from the Batman and Robin, where the background and the character up top has so much detail in it. I think this cover would be pretty sweet if there was a little bit more shadowing and depth in Batman and Robin, but really they left a lot to be desired here in this cover, and that's why it's on one of the worst covers of the week. Then we have this Action Comics 1085 David Parator variant. I love this cover. I wanted to hate it at first, but the more I look at it, the more I like it. Because as I've stated before, the faces on this kind of stuff really bother me, but I really like the way this cover stands out and the use of the flowing of the cape, and Superman's kind of holding the cape in his hands. I don't know. The more I look at this cover, the more awesome it looks, and I think it would look awesome on a canvas or a poster or a print. I really think this is a great Superman cover, and that's coming from someone who doesn't generally enjoy Superman comics. Then for the worst cover of the week, we have this Green Lantern Corps #3, the 1/25 Afu Chan variant. I don't like the cartooniness of this cover. Some people might, but just my personal opinion, I just feel like the cartooniness of it really detracts and takes away from what could have been a badass cover if it was more realistic than, going for maybe a Justice League Unlimited or New Teen Titans-esque feel to it. I really just feel like the cartooniness of it and the blockiness of like this knee right here hurts this cover all around. Then we have this DC versus Vampire World War V #8, the Puppeteer Lee variant. I love this cover, this Robin cover. I think it's really detailed. It's a great cover, and I think any Robin fan would enjoy having this in their collection. Then we have this Fire and Ice When Hell Freezes Over #1, Jeff DeCal variant. I love just the way this is drawn, the different colors and the different aspects and the different, art styles that are used on this. It feels very unique to me. I really like it, and I think it's a great cover offering from Fire and Ice. That's it for DC. Like I said, there wasn't a whole lot of covers to choose from this week for DC. So those are just some offerings, and we're kind of do the same thing here with Marvel. Kicking us off for best and worst covers for Marvel, we have Uncanny X-Men #13, this David Mack variant. Gambit covers have been a big thing for the Uncanny X-Men lately, and I think this David Mack cover is one of the better Gambit covers to come along. I really like David Mack's art. Some of it's hit, some of it's missed, but I really think he knocks it out of the park with this Gambit, with kind of like that, what feels like that use of watercolor throughout the image and the background. And I love that all the different sides that make up the X are different suits of cards. Like you got your hearts, your diamonds, your clubs, your spades. I think this is a really good cover. I think David Mack crushed it on this here Gambit cover. Then we have a surefire miss, probably what I would call our miss of the week here for worst covers of the week. Is this Laura Kinney Wolverine #5, this Alex 1 in 50 Alex Mulvey X23 Virgin variant. This should not be a 1 in 50. I feel like Shannon Doherty cosplaying as X23. Almost the detail here is lacking. I like the effort, but like you're differentiating the claws from the boots, and instead of the claws being silver right here, they're just the same color of the boots. So it looks like she's like the Wicked Witch of the West, and her feet curled up, and it's like those uncurled, and she's got elongated boots on. It's not my favorite cover. I really think it's probably one of the worst covers this week. I just feel like I understand what the artist was going for, but other representations of what Laura Kinney looks like could have been better incorporated in this. And I just feel like this right here is a massive miss on this book, especially at a 1 in 50 ratio. Up next, we have a Philip Tan Daredevil 20. I love this cover. I love the action sequence, Daredevil kind of above the rubble with all the smoke in the background. I feel like this is a great Daredevil in that great red and black Daredevil costume that he's been wearing in this book. Super great cover and offering from Daredevil. To a not so great offering from Daredevil, we have this Daredevil 20A cover from John Romita Jr. Listen, John Romita Jr. is one of my favorite Spider-Man artists. Him and his dad are up there on my Mount Rushmore of Spider-Man artists, but not so much anymore. Listen, ever since he's drawn Kick-Ass, he's kind of never been able to get out of that blocky style. All of his characters are real blocky. They don't look, anatomically correct. They look weird, and this is no different. I can't tell if they're here to embrace playing nosy or going in for a smooch. I can't really tell what's going on right here in this cover. I mean, I can. Clearly they're hugging, but I can't tell other intention behind it. If it's just an embrace, are they going in for a smooch, what it is. But I just really don't like the new blocky, I shouldn't even say new, continued blocky style of John Romita Jr. I felt like it worked well for Kick-Ass, but it has not really worked for any of the other covers and other things he's drawn in a long time. Our number one of the week, which is a big book, The Amazing Spider-Man #1. That's right. They're going to continue the legacy numbering, but we are relaunching Amazing Spider-Man with a new creative team. So that means we're going to get a whole new slew of covers. We have this A cover. We have this nice Simon DeMeo B variant cover. We have this Nemit Melva Black Cat variant for a C cover, and a good Ryan Stegman variant for the D cover. We also have this Lee Bermejo variant for an E cover, this gorgeous Greg Land cover for an F, and then we have this CAFU Hellgate first appearance variant as our G cover, and then we have a Mark Chiarello foil variant for the I cover. We do have some incentives. We have a 1 in 25 David Marquez J cover. We have a 1 in 50 Gil Kane Hidden Gems variant, the K cover. A 1 in 50 Nimit Melva Black Cat variant for the L cover, and a 1 in 100 Greg Land Virgin variant as our M cover. And then we have an N, a 1 in 200 of the Lee Bermejo Virgin variant on this book. My best cover of the week does go to this Lee Bermejo variant. I love the detail in this book, from the web shooters all the way to the design on the bottom of the feet, the spider on the inside of the window, the background. Everything in this cover is so great, so well detailed. It is an amazing, amazing Spider-Man cover. It is probably one of two covers I'm gonna pick up from this book. The other one being this Nimit Melva Black Cat variant. I love the detail. Almost looks like a Sydney Sweeney-esque Black Cat. Could that be hitting at something for Spider-Man 4? Who knows? But I love the just detail in this book on this cover, and the cat in the background with the crown is pretty funny too. But I love both these covers. And the miss for me at this Mark Chiarello foil variant, I feel like it's very basic. Almost looks like it's traced. Not that it is, but it just almost looks like it's traced, and it's hard lined, and it just doesn't fit. It almost looks like he's like, shoot. I know he's supposed to be like holding the web and stringing it together, but it almost looks like it's shooting out of his hand like that. Or maybe it's supposed to be a forward shot of it shooting out of his wrist at you in a wide motion. But either way, I found like this cover was an absolute miss. We have this 1 in 25 Dan Panozin variant for Doctor Strange of Asgard #2. I really dig this cover here. I love the forward face shot with kind of the waviness worked in the background to make it look like she's using her powers. I feel like this is a great offering on this book as well. Then we have this Turin Clark lightsaber variant on Star Wars Jedi #2. I love this variant. I love the detail in Yoda's face. I think this variant looks awesome. In this book, I will probably pick up just for this cover. Then we get into our independence for the week. Our best cover for the independence is this 1 in 50 Fred Pham Chong variant for Transformers 19, a beautiful Megatron variant as he's stepping on the bodies of other fallen Transformers. All great offerings from Transformers this week for Megatron covers, although it does look funny because it looks like he's got a mag light for a cannon on his arm, but that's just kind of always been the design since Transformers was created. Then for worst covers of the week, we have this Edward Deland variant for Spawn 363. I just feel like Spawn covers, how many people do you know that collect Spawn actually read the book, or do they just collect it for covers? I feel like Spawn has been one of those books that's been notorious for having great covers, and this is just one of those Spawn books that was a complete miss. I can appreciate the artist's attempt, and it's like a negative space, I guess is what I was looking for, on the Spawn, where the majority of him is his cape, and you just see his hands coming out with the gun. But to me, this is not a quality Spawn cover, or what we've come to know as quality from Spawn, as it's usually a book that has some of the greatest covers on them. Speaking of that, we have this Brett Booth A cover from Spawn. Now this is a Spawn cover. This is what I'm talking about. I love the detail, how she's holding the body in her hand and the chain whipping around as she's sitting on kind of like the skull throne. I think this cover is amazing and an amazing offering from Spawn. Worst cover of the week goes to Return of the Living Dead, this Buzz Hassan AM exclusive variant. It kind of reminds me of one of the creatures from Attack on Titan a little bit. Just doesn't sell for me. I feel like it's not that great of cover, especially for being an AM exclusive variant. But Mark Spears killing it on his book Return of the Living Dead. We have this beautiful Mark Spears A cover. I love his use of colors. I love his style in this, and it's really hard to find a book Mark Spears doesn't knock out of the park. Really, I've only found maybe one or two, that Lino being one of them, the Mel Gibson, I call it, Lino being one of them, but usually Mark Spears just absolutely kills it, and an absolute gem of a cover for this Return of the Living Dead. And then another miss of the week from Return of the Living Dead is this Paul Mitland variant. It's kind of, I guess, call it a Back to the Future homage maybe, but it just feels like it's really poorly done, and it could have been a little bit better job at, I don't know. I'm not an artist, but I just claim to be one on the internet, and I feel like it gives me off like really bad Toxic Avenger vibes. It's just not a cover I really dig, and it's probably one I wouldn't be picking up. If I'm getting this book, which I am, I'm going to go with the Mark Spears variant on this book all day long. But that's it. There you have it. Like I said, it's a shorter week. Last week we had a massive week. This week is a little bit shorter, so we didn't have a lot to pick from. So I just gave you my best and worst covers from what's coming out from all the publishers, DC, Marvel, and Independence. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what covers you like this week and what you're picking up. And maybe if you agree or disagree with me, let me know in the comment section below. But make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and check out everything else we have to offer on this section here to stay on this channel and keep nerding out. And for me, and on this week's episode of Best and Worst Comics, I will say we will see you at the spinner rack.